Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm That Fat Guy, and today is another installment of Fat Chat. I'm very excited today. I've got another man shaking on the line with me. I've got Tim. How you doing today, Tim?
Yeah, very well, very well. Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Oh mate, no, thank you for coming on the air. Look at your professional setup you got there. Got the mood lighting. That's
it's
amazing.
yeah, I mean, I started streaming online as just sort of a casual fun thing to do about three and a half years ago, and it sort of developed into a part-time profession for me. So yeah, it's evolved over the years, but it's I'm happy with my little man cave at the moment, I call it. So
It's beautiful. I'm very jealous. Yeah, I've got this LED floodlight that's in front of me that's kind of bouncing off the wall. So you've got a bit of light there, but it has those slides for different colors and that.
oh
So
yes, yeah, yep.
if I go the red slide, it's a bit too romantic and would have to have some saxophone playing in the background. And
No problem with that at all.
so mate, I hear that well, you tell me because I don't hear it, but you've told me that you're a bit under the weather recently, mate. What's going on?
Oh, I just had a bit of a cold. My son brought home something from daycare, and when your kid gets sick, chances are you'll get sick. And yeah, so just took a couple of days off to rest up and recover because if you've got a cold, you shouldn't be at work. So stay at home, be sensible, look
That's
after
exactly.
yourself.
Exactly right, my man. Exactly right. All too many people go out and they just spread
Yeah,
around all sorts of diseases and colds and everything like
and in the
that. So,
kind of world where we're living in at the moment, it's probably the best just to be safer than sorry.
oh, mate, tell me about it. Like I went grocery shopping yesterday, and there was whole families of people there. It was like a regular Saturday at the mall, uh, like like before all this stuff happened. It was
Yeah.
just ridiculous.
Well, I work retail, sort of face-to-face customer service retail, and we've been working all through this entire thing. So and it's an eye-opening experience at some stages, but it's good to see the majority of people are following the rules and the regulations that have been put in place. And it is only temporary, so yeah, but it is at times it is eye-opening, and it's you can see the stress on society in some of the customers you serve. It's been very
Yeah.
eye-opening.
Well, when it first kind of became very serious, kind of stuff, I was going down the aisle in Woolies, and like this lady was like edged up right against the other aisle, trying to avoid the planet, and she'll get sucked into my orbital pool or something like that.
Yeah, it's interesting how some people deal with it. Some people are just like, you know what, let's just be sensible, and other people are like, oh my god, get away from me, I can't be anywhere near you. And I mean, at the end of the day, we have to stay apart, which is it goes against everything that we love as human beings. Like we like to be connected, we like to be close to other people, our mates, our partners and stuff, and it's just sort of a period of having to be forced to separate from people in that respect. And but like I said, it's temporary, and at the end of it, we'll come out of it the other side, and hopefully we'll be a bit smarter for it as well, so that if it happens again, we can deal with it a bit better.
Mm. Well, what do you think of this whole recent sort of like, oh, hey, how you doing, hug and kiss kind of thing? Like, are you a hugger and a kisser when you see someone?
I mean, I'm a bit of a hugger. I don't know. Like, I realized the other day because I actually hugged a friend that I hadn't seen for about 7 weeks. Like she and I hadn't. She's got kids of her own, and we decided, like we weren't going to visit and stuff like that because obviously the government said don't, and because like we didn't want to possibly spread something from one family to the other. And I went over and saw her actually last Friday when the restrictions were lifted, and I gave her a hug and I said, it's good to see you. And it was literally I realized that it was the first human contact that I'd had with another person for over 7 weeks. And like all the time, like when you're at work, not shaking anyone's hands, not getting close to people, constantly sanitizing my own hands. The only human contact I've had is with my son when he comes over to see me, 3 days a week. But even then, like outside of that, that was the first physical human contact I'd had in 7 weeks. And I realized how much I'd missed that. Like just crazy, absolutely
Mate,
crazy.
Just change those weeks to years, and you describe my high school life. Like honestly, no human contact.
Yeah, yeah, I can agree with that. I can attest to that myself. Yeah.
But mate, it's rough. It's rough, absolutely rough. And I'm lucky enough that I have the missus, so yeah, and my daughter as well. So I got the physical contact going. But like, I instinctively walked up to a workmate of mine to shake his hand when I went to the office the other day, and he was like, "Oh," because he's been at the office the entire time, and I've been just in my little shell of workplace. And yeah, it's an adjustment. But look, enough about all that crap. The
There's
pandemic was.
enough of it on the news. Yeah, yeah.
There's enough of it. So I want to ask you, well, just tell us a little bit about yourself. So like you've mentioned that you worked in retail and you have a son. Just
Yeah.
tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do and
Okay,
all of that.
so I'm Tim. I'm 35. I live in Newcastle. Actually, I live in the Hunter Valley, but I like to tell people I live in Newcastle. It's flashier. I have a two, or he's 3 next month, 3-year-old son, called Henry. I've worked in customer service retail. I won't talk about who I work for, but I mean, you've probably seen, some people would have seen the comparison picture of me wearing my work uniform. I've worked with that company for 15 years, and I've essentially been a part-time content creator for about 3 to 4 years. And just doing a lot of stuff with social media, community management, stuff like that. So decided one morning I woke up and I was like, you know what? I play video games all the time. Why don't I do something with that? And I decided to start streaming, and it sort of snowballed from there to where I am now. So, and I've had a lot of opportunities in that respect. It's a lot of people see gaming as a child's playground, but there's so many amazing content creators that are out there that are my age or older that are just, you know, creating some really cool stuff and being involved in the conversation around video games. And it's part of my passion, part of my hobby. And yeah, so I've been blessed to have a lot of opportunities in that respect. And it actually, funnily enough, because of building a community in gaming and on social media, that's how I first sort of got involved with Manshake.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually started using their product. It would have been 2 years ago. A friend who I worked with, he had said, "Oh, I've got a bag of it in my cupboard," and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." He said, "I don't want it. Do you?" And I was like, "Oh, I'll give it a try." And I tried it on and off for probably about 6 months. I didn't commit to it though. I was in that stage before I decided to finally make a big change to my life. And then I started using it, and I noticed the result, and I reached out to the guys at Manshake and said, "Hey, like, I'd really love to work with your company, because I actually have used this product. I've had this success on the product. You know, like, I want to get out there and talk to men about, you know, changing their life, changing their weight, and changing their mental health and outlook on life." And it's sort of really meshed, you know. And the guys at Manshake were like, "Well, you know, we haven't worked with anyone who's been in the gaming space or anything like that." And they were really keen to sort of talk to me about it and see if we could actually work on stuff. And it's since then I haven't looked back.
That's really good. That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly like I saw your transformation on the man shake and all the pictures and whatnot. But like a little bit about your weight gain and loss. Like, what were you like? Were you always big, or did you?
Uh, yeah, I think I've always had I've always had weight. I've always been an overweight kid. I went through periods during high school where I shot up in height. Like, I'm 6'4", so I rocketed up in my in my height, and I was at a stage where I was still chubby, but I wasn't overweight. But I've always had a really poor relationship with food ever since I was young. My mum's cooking was, to put it nicely, it was shit. It was garbage. She wasn't a very good cook, and I love my mum to death, but she could not cook to save her life. If it
Hey, it's
wasn't
Mother's
boiled,
Day.
yeah, I know, I know. If it wasn't boiled, it was fried in oil. So it was, yeah. My liver took a beating. I'll put it that way. I actually ended up in hospital at one stage. I had to have a biopsy to see how bad my liver was, and I sort of about faced from that and got myself into eating better. But I had to do it of my own accord.
Wow.
Yeah, so my relationship with food hasn't been the best ever since I was young. And obviously I met a girl, I fell in love, we grew, and a family. Like, well, you know, we built a family together, and then we actually had a child a few years down the track. But when you're in a relationship, that comfort, you know, feeling, that comfort setting, it's sometimes not conducive to a healthy lifestyle. And I sort of fell back into old habits and a poor relationship with food again. And I ended up getting to a point where I was 150 kilos. And yeah, I was in a relationship. I was happy with the person I was with, but I wasn't happy with the person I was. And that relationship unfortunately came to an end February last year. And
Oh, I'm so sorry to
uh,
hear, man.
I mean, it's horrible to say, but that relationship ending was probably the best thing that happened to me, because it made me wake up the next morning and look at myself in the mirror and go, what, like, I'm not sure if you're allowed swearing on this, but what the fuck am I doing? You know, like, what is happening? What is happening to me? And I looked at my reflection, and there's a 150 kilo guy staring back at me, and I just went, I'm done. Like, I can't do this anymore. And that's when I really committed to man shake, weight loss, and just doing something, making that change to my life. And since then, I've dropped, well, I got down to 117 kilos, which was the lightest I'd been. And my goal was 110. So I was within 7 kilos of my goal. Christmas, Easter, and isolation haven't helped. I'm sitting at 125 now. So I have put on weight, but I'm not like angry about that or upset about that or beating myself up about it, because I know I can lose it again. And yeah, and so I've, you know, adjusted my mindset in that respect, and then heading back towards that 110 goal, which I'm very confident I'll hit within the next couple of months. So,
Well, you have a great attitude towards it, and it's amazing how many guys will attest to the whole sort of dramatic shift in some change of your life where you have that realization moment, whether it be a fat photo of yourself or a breakup, or just, you know, oh, I can't fit into my Parramatta Eels jersey anymore. You know, you have that moment where you're just like, oh, I've got to make a change.
yeah.
And sounds like you had a pretty significant loss.
It was the wake up call. Yeah, it was I like the mother, like Henry's mother and myself, we have a pretty strained relationship, as a lot of people who break up do. But in a respect, I thank her very much for having the courage to end our relationship, because it was the wake up call I needed to reassess my entire life and figure out what was wrong with my, not only my physical appearance, and even it wasn't what was wrong with my physical appearance. It was the way I viewed myself physically, you know, and the way I viewed weight loss, and the way I viewed my mental health. Like, it was that essentially the watershed moment that you have when you go, I can't sustain the life that I'm living anymore. I can't keep doing what I'm doing and expecting things to just be rosy. It was,
so that weight,
yeah.
oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off. So that weight gain, did that have a strain? Did that add a strain to the relationship? Like, was that one of the hot points?
I think my ex and I will argue about this until the end of time, but she is adamant that my weight had nothing to do with our separation. And I personally don't believe her, because I saw what I looked like, and I wouldn't have been in love with me either. And that's not to say that weight is important. Like, your physical appearance isn't the cornerstone of a relationship. Like, if your physical appearance is the basis of your relationship probably needs some attention.
Yeah, reassessing.
But you've got to be attracted to the person that you're in love with. You know, you've got to be attracted to the person you're with. And when I looked at myself and the photos of myself, I go like, gee, how was she ever attracted to me in that respect? Like, I'm a very good person. I'm very, like, I believe my moral compass is in the right spot. I like to think that I am a good person, like, and not arrogantly either. I like to think that when it comes to my choices in life, I've always made the ones that are the right thing to do and help others, and you know, like, fighting for issues that I believe in that help other people. But at the end of the day, a relationship is you know, being in love with the person's personality, but you also have to be in love with them from a physical appearance perspective. Like, that's not I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's all about what's on the inside. And it is. Most of the time it is. But there's also that physical component. And I looked at myself and went, shit. I don't like what I look like. Why would someone else like what I look like? And it's a very fine line that you have to walk in that respect, because like I said, a lot of people will say it's not about physical appearance, but it is. Like, let's not kid ourselves. If you're going to attract a partner, you have to have confidence. You have to, be happy with yourself. You have to feel like that you have something to offer to someone else. Like I just looked at myself and I was like, I'm not happy. Like I'm not happy with what I look like. I know I can look better than this. I know that confidence that I will gain with looking my best will be attractive to someone else, and so I 100% believe that had a part to play in the end of our relationship, even though she won't ever admit it. I do believe it did, and that doesn't make me angry like it would most. It was more of a revelation, if anything.
Well, I think you're right in a lot of aspects there. Like because when you have that physical gain of weight and you look at yourself, what happens? Well, at least what happens to me is that my self confidence drops. My the love for myself just disappears, and I morph into a different person, an angry person, and that changes for me. It changes the whole physical and mental attributes to what made my partner or your partner in this instance fall in love with you. And I think that can change their whole outlook as not just a physical thing, but also your mental capacity and such. And it all goes hand in hand.
Make no mistake, confidence is sexy. It is absolutely sexy, and confidence comes to people in different forms. For example, some people who don't give a shit about their weight are supremely confident, and they attract people based off that alone. Whereas for me personally, I find that if I'm happy with myself physically, that improves my mental well-being, and my mental well-being then, that projects as confidence. And I believe that is very attractive in my respect. And I think the dating game in 2020 is very hard. Like, it was hard before coronavirus. Now it's even harder.
I would hate to be dating right now. For anyone who's single is watching this, I have all my love and good luck to you. It's just
one of the most attractive things that you can see in a person that you might potentially want to date is their confidence. Like, when that shines through, that is just, they can be the most attractive woman on the planet, looks based, or attractive person on the planet because of their looks. Like, they can look like they've been ripped off the cover of a magazine, but if the personality and the confidence isn't there, it's just, for me personally, it's just not, I'm not interested. And I find that one of the things that people lack, and they focus so hard on their physical aspects and their physical attributes, but they're not happy with themselves, and that shines through. And it's a shame, because confidence is one of the most attractive things on the planet. Absolutely.
It is 100% a shame, because the media outlets and everything like that paints a certain type of beauty and everything like that. And I don't mean to sound so really hippie, but everyone has something to offer. And if you can just be confident in yourself, as a person, as a personality, rather than just a physical being, then you'll have. I find that a lot of guys will have a lot more luck out there, and ladies as well. But getting away from the whole, sorry, I want to get away from
there's also a very fine line between confidence and arrogance as well. So I think that's something.
I know plenty of arrogant, fit dudes. But look, so getting away from the whole psychology of dating nowadays. So you obviously went on the man shake and you lost a good portion of weight. What were you doing in terms of exercise and eating outside of the shake itself?
Okay, so this is going to probably go against everything every fitspirational person will tell you, but I did fuck all exercise for 6 months that I was on man shake, and in that time I lost 20 kilos. And I am one of those people that absolutely hates exercise. Like I understand why people do it. I understand how good it is for you. I understand how good it is for you mentally, but I still hate it. I will force myself to do it when I have to, but I hate it. And one of the things one of the things that I get asked all the time when people see like, and a lot of the other Manshake ambassadors and men who use it will probably attest to this, that one of the things that gets asked the most when you put up a comparison photo or a picture of your weight loss then and now is you will get your messages, and it always happens to me, 4 or 5 messages that will say, "What are you doing to exercise? What is your exercise routine?" And it's like, I don't have an exercise routine. I have some shit in the shed that I go and lift when I want to feel like I'm like a beast, you know. I'll go and lift some weights in my shed, and I'll be like, yeah, you know, like look how much I can lift. But I don't have an exercise routine. I just say the same thing straight back. Just eat less. Just be more active. Whether it's, you know, like there's this misconception that cardio loses weight, and if you do lots of cardio you'll lose weight. You know, like you can also lose weight by eating less. Like it's just the way, like if you are in a calorie deficit, you are gonna lose weight.
Exactly right.
A lot of people are under the misconception, well, I think it's a misconception, that you go to the gym to lose weight. And I like to subscribe to one of my favorite fitness or anti-fitness guys, James Smith. You don't go to the gym to lose weight. You go to the gym to get stronger. That's why we see this trend of women going to the gym and lifting weights and doing exercises that, you know, have for so many years now have been male dominated, you know, like deadlifts and, you know, rear deadlifts and, you know, squatting with a barbell, like because they're getting stronger. And like that, I think strength is such a more obtainable thing, like, or more like worthwhile pursuit than just losing weight. And I think that's why you go to the gym. So I don't go to the gym to lose weight. If I go to the gym, it's to lift stuff so that I can build muscle and get stronger. If I want to lose weight, I watch what I eat. I calorie count. I just try and have a healthier relationship with food. Instead of having a quarter pounder for lunch, I'll have a sandwich, you know, but then sometimes I'll be weak and have a quarter pounder because it's okay to treat yourself. Like you lose weight by staying in a calorie deficit, being a little bit more active, and then just making sure that you enjoy the things that you like in moderation. That's the trap. Yeah.
That's 100% right. And I've said in one of my recent videos, like 80% diet, 20% actual workout. And I have people asking me all the time, because I've lost close to 30 kilos in 4 months, which, yeah, well, for me, a few years back, that would be unheard of. Like I was slogging it out in the gym 5 days a week. And yeah, I was getting hell strong. Like I was deadlifting 220 odd kilos by the end of it. And I was just like, yeah, this is great. I'm getting strong. But I noticed that my weight was taking forever to go down. And like I'm nearly caught up to the number of kilos I lost, you know, back a few years back, just in 4 months. And I was working out for a full year. But people ask me all the time, what do you do for exercise? I just say, I just walk. I literally just walk. And like I work here. This is my desk. This is where I work. This is my motivational David Hasselhoff. Like I work here. And my bed is right here. Like I literally like am where I work and where I sleep. So I get out and I do a half-hour walk every day, and it might be an hour walk, like if I do a second walk in the day. So it just little things like that you can change. You don't need to work it out and slog it out in the gym. That is a common misconception given to us by all movies, gyms, gym outlets, and magazines.
Absolutely. The thing that bugs me the most as well is that mentality that people, and like people aren't to blame for this mentality. It's because society has kind of told people for years that they have to look at these people who are thin and trim and like lean and muscly, and we have to imitate exactly what they do in order to obtain that status or obtain that body. And it's why when people message you and say, you know, what is your workout routine? It's like, I could tell you what my workout routine, I could make up a workout routine for myself and then give it to you. There's no guarantee that that's going to work because I don't know your body type. I don't know your metabolism. I don't know all the thousands of things about you that would probably be helpful in constructing a diet and exercise plan for you. So I could tell you, oh, I just go down to the train station and run up and down the stairs for 20 minutes, which is what I do every now and then. Like, that's not going to, that might not work for you. You might do the same thing I do for 2 weeks and not lose a kilo. Like, it's just, it seems that people are so after that quick fix. And if I copy someone else's homework, essentially I'll be able to have the same outcome. And it really doesn't work like that. It honestly doesn't. It's about figuring it out, what works for you, what exercises you want to do, what exercises you can do that you like, and avoid the ones that you dislike. Yeah, it's not a one size fits all approach.
Well, I want to expand on that. Like, if you're out there and you're a dude like this, yeah, and you're searching on YouTube and you go to one of the hundreds of thousands of YouTube pages where there's a guy who has probably 2% body fat on him, and he's giving you a beginner's guide to weight loss and workouts and all of that, go somewhere else, because what they think, they're so attuned to these workouts where you've got to focus on all parts of your body and everything like that. It just so attuned to just getting the most amount of gains and everything like that. It's probably been
and also a real telltale sign is the hashtag ad as well. I am very much like I mentioned my love of James Smith, because he's one of those people that is just really adept at taking on the fitness industry bullshit. Like he doesn't seem to be able to hold fire on anyone that, like, if he sees like fitness bullshit, he calls it out, and he calls it out very in a Gordon Ramsay style. But it's amazing the information that, like, personal trainers, for example, as well, is, I don't want to sow distrust in personal trainers, but they also tend to fall into the one size fits all approach at times, which is, like, especially when it comes to the difference between men and women, when it, like, what works for a man, it will, might not work for a woman. You also have to take into consideration women's bodies when it comes to reproduction, when it comes to their monthly cycles, stuff like that. So I think as well with personal trainers, it's tough. It's tough to find the good ones as well.
You don't necessarily need to be slogging out in the gym unless you want to get stronger. And that's something I'm doing very differently this time around. I'm going to shed the weight first. Yeah, and then get
the weight first, and then that's it. That's absolutely right. Absolutely right. And
so
it's the simple things as well. Like, park away from the gym. If you go to the gym, don't park out the front. Park a block away. If you're going to the shops, don't stand on the escalator. Walk up it. Like, it's just the little things that you can do in life that just you might not think that it's going to have an impact, but it will if you do it consistently. Like, it's
Now, you mentioned before that sometimes you go to the train station, run up the stairs, and do that a few times. Please, do you wear the grey sweatsuit and just do the Rocky sort of at the top there?
No, my workout clothes are essentially just a pair of shorts, some Nike shoes, and a polo top. I'm the daggy dad gym guy the whole way. So,
well, here's a little factoid for you. Like, here's a cultural gap that I've had for all my life. Rocky, the movie, I watched for the first time yesterday.
Really? Well, that's one day earlier than I have. So I've never watched the Rocky movies. I've never seen The Lion King, and every time I mention that, I get destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. I've never watched The Lion King.
The original Lion King.
The original Lion King. Yep.
Okay, here's another one. Right, I've got you beat on this one. Scarface. Never seen it.
I've never seen Scarface either. There's probably a list of movies that I'm supposed to watch that I never have, that I would probably be run out of town if I admitted.
I had a few of those cultural gaps, like, those things where it's like, I just never got around to seeing it. And The Godfather was one of them. Sopranos, like, that kind of crimey kind of stuff, I never really watched, and I got drilled for one day at work, and I was like, okay, that's it, I'm gonna binge them. And
yeah, that's it. Well, I mean, you could obviously get some of your viewers to put together a list of movies that we should watch.
Yes. If you
Absolutely.
viewers out there, if you have any cultural gaps, like movies where you've meant to have seen it, like for some reason or another, post it down below, because I'm keen to see whether I'm the only idiot out there, and apparently Tim as well,
Yeah.
that
Right.
has not seen movies that
Have to
apparently
expand.
are much seen.
Have to expand our movie base for sure.
Well, it looks like you got a few figures in the back there. What are they?
So that'd probably be my forte more than movies and music is video games. So pretty much
Wait. Is that some Dragon Ball Z above your head there?
absolutely is. There's a whole cupboard, I should say, or a set of shelves devoted to Dragon Ball Z. It is my favorite anime. Oh yes, he's got the
Yeah.
pops.
Well, I don't collect these pop vinyl things. They really don't make a lot of sense to me how people collect them and go nuts for them. And I say that to you, despite the fact you've got 1,000 figurines behind you. So I do apologize if I've inadvertently offended you. But look, yeah, I've got a few of them, just the ones that I find really cool. Dragon Ball Z I grew up with, and my most favorite one so far is the child from Mandalorian.
That's a cultural reference I don't understand. I don't understand the love for the child. I'm one of those people who's like, "Whoa, what's this stupid little Yoda thing?" Like, that's.
Okay.
I also
Yeah.
haven't watched the Mandalorian. I probably should watch that too. But
You
no, I
haven't
love.
watched The Mandalorian?
No, not yet. I haven't got Disney Plus yet, but I am planning to get it and watch it.
Okay. That,
That's it.
Lion
Chat
King, I
done.
could forgive. I could forgive Lion King, but Mandalorian. Look, Disney Plus, you can get free trial, 7 days. You'll watch it all in one day. I
Yeah.
promise you. Okay.
I have heard nothing but good things, but every time I see that baby Yoda, I'm just like, oh, bloody baby
Just
Yoda. It's all everyone's
watch it.
talking about. But no, I do love video games. I just, yeah, it's been my entire life. I started playing video games when I would have been about 5. My very first console was an Atari. My grandma and I used to sit and play this game called Plaque Attack, which is, it was essentially about brushing your teeth. And honestly, the message was lost on me because I'm terrible at remembering to brush my teeth. But
Yeah.
yeah, and it's just something I find video gaming is a great place to retreat to sometimes. I know we all have different things we do in life that we retreat to when we feel stressed or that we just need a break from the world. For me, a narrative in a video game that is compelling and just hooks you in is you can't get better than that for me. And that's why I just, yeah, some games you just pick up and then like 10 hours later you put it down and you're like, oh my God, that was amazing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I reckon I got absorbed into Red Dead Redemption 2 and came out of it a cowboy. Like I was talking with a bit of an accent for like the next week. Insane.
My favorite video game that's been released in the last couple of years is one that's called Detroit Become Human, and it's just an interactive story where your decisions at any stage in the game can change the way it plays out. And I just think it's absolutely brilliant. It's the butterfly effect in full display. And it's those kind of things that you can just, those storylines that you can just retreat into are just that to me is my film binging, my
Well, why don't you give your channel a bit of a spruik? Because I know you do Twitch.
Yeah, so I stream on Twitch. I try to be pretty consistent. The last couple of weeks I haven't been because I've been sick. But yeah, normally I stream on there 4 to 5 nights a week. It's twitch.tv/Uber_Timmy, TIMMEH. Absolutely great community that I've built on there. Very positive community, which is, I didn't actually have, and the story that I tell people when they ask me what got me into streaming, I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. And then I sort of and formed a group of a circle of friends at high school, and we stayed very close friends for 6 years. And then we finished high school and a lot of us just went our separate ways. And not that we don't stay in contact, we all talk all the time, but it's hard to catch up with them all the time when, one lives in Bathurst, one lives in Sydney, one lives over near Wagga, and I live in the Hunter Valley. So I started streaming online as a way to interact with people, just to form new friendships and new connections. And yeah, I've ended up forming close friendships with people all over the world. through it. So yeah, it was, for me,
Wow.
it was very much a snap decision I made that has just become such a big part of my life.
Well, it's amazing how little things like that can bring
Mm,
people together, and the
yeah,
power of the internet nowadays. And
absolutely. Well, to
it's
put it in
it certainly
perspective,
has changed a lot of lives, for the better and some for the worse.
yeah, yeah, yeah. To put it in perspective, I actually, through my streaming, got picked to be what's called a Ubisoft Star Player, which essentially is recognized as a super fan for Ubisoft games. And they actually flew me out to Los Angeles to attend E3 in 2018. And I met people that I'd been speaking to for 2 to 3 years over Twitter and social media, like got to meet them in the person, for like in the flesh, from all over the world. And it
Wow,
just,
that's so
it,
cool.
it was a revelation for me on just how powerful online connectivity is in this day and age. Like, it's, yeah, absolutely. I've some of those people I would consider family.
Well, look, I would recommend anyone who's on Twitch or into gaming or something like that, check out Tim's channel, because it sounds pretty cool. I'm actually going. I will check it out after this, because I know that Jerd also does some twitching as well. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's been getting into the farming simulators. So
Oh, yes,
yeah,
yeah.
if you're not
Bird's a
on
great
Jerd's
guy.
YouTube as well, check that
Absolutely,
out. I'll put a link to that as well.
yeah.
Um,
Absolutely great guy. One of the nicest people I think I've met in the entire Manshake community. He's just present company also included. But
he's
no, he's a great guy.
Yeah, Jerd, he like we had a good chat. It was the first batch chat I've done. I was like, just had no idea what I'm doing. I still don't have any idea what I'm doing, but he was fantastic, and he was it was all over it. And I've heard from I did a fat chat which is due to be released tomorrow, which is Monday last week by the time this one airs. And Jared, he was saying that apparently he's hell tall. Like, apparently he's like 6'4", 6'5". I wouldn't have picked it. Like, from all the pictures, he looks, fairly
Yeah,
sort of
I
like
wouldn't have
sub
picked that
6 foot.
either. Yeah.
Yeah, so apparently he's really tall. So I'm going to be the short one if we ever meet up. Mario
I would
too.
actually, I would love to see that. Actually, I'd love to meet all of the Manshake, the men of Manshake, and have like a get together. I think that'd be so cool.
Well, that's something that I really want to organise or get a foot into. It's just like a bit of a man shake men, maybe a
Yeah,
fat guy kind of meet up, because there's a lot of people around, and I think it'll be very good for a lot of people to share some ideas and some thoughts and some
yeah,
experiences, and put
yeah.
actual faces to
Yeah,
names.
that's one of the things. Like, I'm not sure how many people like who watch your channel would know about the Facebook group, but the amount of men in there that are just like, they're just looking for a way to find a better life, and just for guidance and help, and like, it's such a welcoming atmosphere in that actual chat, in that page as well. So if you're interested in Manshake, or you're even just considering a weight loss journey, like, I would absolutely recommend that you search that page up on Facebook and join it, because that community is just, there are so many supportive men in there. It's insane.
That page is a diamond in the rough on Facebook.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Facebook is one of the most negative social media outlets I've ever seen. Like,
It's
if
a
there was a
dumpster
dislike
fire.
button, if there was a dislike button, I'm sure that many people would have just off themselves, just from the sheer amount of negativity and bullying that is
Yeah.
on Facebook. But
Yeah.
that page, like, when I got onto it, and I got onto it around Christmas time that Jerd did his The Current Affair thing, I was blown away by the responses of just blokes that were complete strangers saying such positive and
Positive. Yeah. Yeah.
motivational
Yeah.
things to blokes out there struggling with weight. It's just outstanding. And I will put a link to it below. You don't need to be on the Manshake to be on that
No,
page.
absolutely not.
That's the major thing. And like, I pretty much spruik it once a week at least in my channels, and like I see the page growing. It's now about 7,500 members,
Mm.
and it's fantastic. Get on it
It
if
is.
you are
Yeah.
struggling.
It's such a positive space as well. I mean, I've only seen one troll in there in the entire time that I've been in there, and he was dealt with pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But that was the other reason that I wanted to be affiliated with Manshake, was because of just how simple of an approach it is to men just looking for a better way, like a better life. And the way that, Dukes has actually created something that is not only positive from a health perspective, but very positive from a mental health perspective. And that's so important in the journey, in the weight loss journey. And it's something that doesn't get spoken about a lot as well. And when I did my Man Shake interview with the guys, with Jess and that, I opened up pretty deep on like my mental health battles when it came to just how I felt about myself when I was going through my relationship breakdown. And I honestly found something that was so simple that I could use, that didn't mean that I had to torture myself with exercise, so that I wasn't unhappy with that as well, because I would have been unhappy if I was exercising all the time. I would not have found any joy in that. As much as people, talk about gym being therapy, for me, not a chance.
Yeah.
It would have not been something that I would have been like, happy doing all the time. But I found something that was simple, that worked for me, that fit into my schedule, that I saw results from. And and then I joined a community of people that were like-minded and supported each other. And that did more for my mental health than I'd experienced in a long time. So that's another positive side effect of joining that community, is not only do you get like some help and guidance when it comes to, like what should you be doing, what should you be eating, but you get that supportive like men talking to other men, like, and supporting them and encouraging them, which, we don't see a lot in today's society. We're still very much hang up in that masculine bullshit, whereas, you got to go into the gym and you got to flex and you got to pump iron and you've got to, show off your muscles. Like, you don't have to do that. That's not
No.
something you have to do. Yeah.
No. So like, yeah, and if you join up there and you are like new to this and you are wanting to start your weight loss journey, it's every opportunity when you post something on there, and it's pretty much a near certainty that Jared is going to post up there a massive long list of like tips and tricks and everything like
Yeah.
that. And just everyday blokes. And I'd love to get an idea on how many kilos the community has lost altogether. Like
That'd be amazing.
it would be amazing. I might have to put out a poll or something, like some sort of a thing that we can all add together. But yeah, wow, it's get a great community. I'll put the link to it down below and get on it. But on that, like, if you could give any advice to people that are wanting to kind of get into it, and what kind of words of motivation would you use?
I don't know if they'd be words of motivation as such, as just like drown out the noise. There's so much noise when it comes to weight loss. Like, there's skinny teas, and there's like, talking about carbs and not eating before 10 o'clock and intermittent fasting and all these other bullshit terms that get thrown around all the time, that are essentially shortcuts. People think they're shortcuts, or they're guaranteed, tips for losing weight. You know your own body. You know why you're unhappy. You know the things that you're eating that are making you that are depressed, like making you overweight, that are adding to your depression. You know the things that you're not eating, which are not helping you sleep, are not helping you feel good about yourself, and not helping your mental health. Just sit down, take stock of your life, think about, what can I change to help with my weight loss? What can I use? What things can I eat? Vitamins, more vegetables, just fresher food. Like, your body better than anyone else. So listen to like what your body is saying to you. And I said the same thing to Jez when he came and did the interview. I said, you can tell when you are not in a good zone, when your body is saying to you, stop eating this shit, when when you're sleeping too much, or you're laying on your couch in the mid-afternoon and falling asleep because you're so tired and lethargic, or, like that your body will tell you that. So don't go looking for some kind of, shortcut or fast way to lose weight. Just think, what can I do? What changes can I make to my life to just be better overall? Like that is the best bit of advice I can give you, because it's not going to be, when you commit to losing weight or you commit to making that change of lifestyle, it is not something that happens in 8 weeks. You don't go out to Fast Freddy's 8-week shred plan and do it, and all of a sudden you're the happiest you've ever been. Like, when you commit to weight loss, it is a fucking 12-month minimum commitment that you need to make to yourself. Like, and the first month or 2 months of it is probably going to be failure. But after the first and second month, you start getting into a grind, into a routine, and you start seeing success. That is what I would say to someone, is just don't listen to the shit. Work it out for yourself. You know, like that.
No, you're 100% right, and I 100% agree with you. Like, there's a reason why you see like shows like The Biggest Loser, who like they lose like a inordinate amount of weight, like an unnatural amount of weight, just like that, and then they're just like released back into the world. It's like, all right, yeah, you know, and guess what's waiting for them? KFC, McDonald's, all those foods I couldn't have, and they'll say, oh, you know, I'll treat myself. You know, I've worked so hard, and that, and really, like, I mean, you know, they were in a zone where it was just purely like no work, no nothing, just weight loss, and then they're released back as well. And that's why you see pretty much most contestants gain all that weight and then some. It is like weight loss nowadays is a long-term journey. You got to take baby steps. You can't just expect, you know, like when you do any sort of workout, if you try too much too quickly, you're going to hurt yourself. The same goes for your willpower, your mental state, your physical state.
Absolutely.
Like little steps, make little adjustments. Me, I dropped soft drink. Drink was my
that was my Achilles heel as well. I was drinking 2 liters of soft drink a day. You know, like, and it is like, and it's disappointing because some people will go, oh, like, I'm gonna be completely transparent and open. Like, I still have 1 can of Coke a day at least. You know, I haven't cut soft drink out of my life completely because it was something, because I wasn't strong enough to do it. Like, I did go cold turkey for a while, but it still creeped back in. Like, it unfortunately, that's the reality of some of the things that we do in life, is that, you know, like, some things are hard to drop, you know, like it's hard to quit smoking. It's hard to give up alcohol. It's hard to get rid of soft drink. But for me, it was going, you know what? I'm drinking 2 liters of this shit a day. That is not healthy for me. And I am gaining weight because of it, but I don't want to get rid of it. I don't want to cut it out of my life completely because I enjoy it. I tell you what, that 1 can of Coke that I have at lunch every day, so much more satisfying and so much more enjoyable because I only have 1 can of Coke a day. I'm not just like, I look forward to that, and I that's my reward for being disciplined. It's there's this general misconception that you have to cut out everything that's bad for you in every single way, and you have to eat tofu, and you have to only have brown rice, and you can't have bread, and you can't eat potatoes. Fuck that noise. Like, honestly, just do it in moderation. You can still come in under the amount of calories that you need to eat per day and still give yourself a little bit of leeway. That's a healthy relationship with food.
Well, I shared it in like a video a few days ago in relation to what I eat, and my diet still includes, you know, like the Rice Krispie slices that, you know, it's on the Man Shake Men page. I indulge in that probably every second day, and that's my thing. Soft drink for me is like a snowball effect, so I've got to avoid that. And when I did my sugar video on how much sugar you intake, I worked it out. Like, something like 1.25 liters of Coke a day works out to be 69 kilos of sugar a year.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
and
crazy.
like 1 point something kilos of sugar a week, and I was just like, you know, I'm a pretty visual guy. But if you need to have it, you know, you make compromises. Have Coke Zero, Diet Coke. You know, it's just it's not about full exclusion. It's about moderation.
Don't torture yourself for a number. Don't torture yourself for a number on the scale, because that will make you so unhappy. Everyone gets so focused on the destination that they forget about the journey. And I feel like I'm throwing out so many old cliches, but they're so relevant. Like, what is the point of getting to 110 kilos if I look back on the last 12 months of my life and realize that I've put myself through hell for it? Like, what? I don't, for me personally, I don't see that as obviously a weight loss journey is not exciting and amazing and fun, but it doesn't have to be torture. Like, I just,
Yeah.
I would
I think
rather enjoy where I'm going than torture myself to get there.
I want to expand on that. It's hard. It
Mm.
is hard. It is, for some people, it's very hard to lose the weight because of their biology and such like that.
Yes.
But you
Yeah.
shouldn't be
Absolutely.
torturing yourself. So you need to show that self-control. You need to show moderation. You need to show that willpower. It is tough. Like, I have had a massive shift in my lifestyle, what I was eating, and there are times it's hard. Like, I was out at the pharmacy today picking up some medicine for the missus, and my stomach did that. You know that stomach churn where it's like, oh, you're
Yeah.
hungry,
So
and
hungry.
then yeah, and I thought, well, there's a McDonald's between here and home, and I legit was like, oh yeah, yeah, I'll try to find something healthy on there. I'm like, no, don't do that. You don't need it.
Mm.
So there are times it's tough. There's no magical solution for it,
There's not.
but it's
There's no
about
magic.
making. Yeah, there's no magic solution. The man shake is a tool to make it easier for you, like how using a hammer to drive a nail.
Yeah.
It's a tool. It's not a magical cure.
Yeah, that's what I had someone come at me in my DMs on Instagram one time, like, oh, it would have been about 2 months ago. And they came at me and they said, "How can you talk about not believing in, like, well, not not agreeing with Fitstagram and influencers and stuff when you're doing the same thing yourself?" And I made me think. I was like, you know what? It's not the truth. Like, that is not the kind of person I am. I don't just endorse things because I want free things. Like, that's not how I work as a person. But it made me ask, like, do people have the perception that, if they see someone drinking Manshake, that they're going to lose weight? And it's like, no, it's not. And that's why one of the things that I'm really proud of working with this company and being part of that page is that people understand that Manshake isn't the answer. It is not the answer to your weight loss question. It is a tool to help you figure out that answer. Like, you are not going, like, if you start drinking Manshake thinking that you are guaranteed to lose weight, stop. Like, honestly, reassess what you're doing and then go, you know what? I'm going to use Manshake as part of a balanced diet to help me lose weight. Like, that's where people unfortunately fall into that mentality of, and it's not helped by Instagram influencers where they say, I just need to drink Manshake and I'm going to lose weight. And it's just not how it works. It is. Yeah, absolutely.
It's the hammer to build the nail.
Yeah.
And you might be asking, why do you have a hammer in your bedroom, Ash? I was actually cleaning up something earlier.
That question was coming, but
It's not one of those sort of like, come on, get there, get like one. Sexual thing.
Yeah, but you're 100% right. Like, it's people have got to stop looking for quick fixes and easy solutions. That's not what it's about. And if you start drinking Manshake thinking I'm guaranteed to lose weight, you're not. If you start drinking thinking I can use this to help improve what I put into my body and use it alongside a good balanced diet with moderation and a little bit more active lifestyle, then I will lose weight. Then you're spot on. That's going to be the journey that will unfold for you.
I dig it. I dig that. But it's been a great tool for me so far. 29.8 in 4 months. That is huge. I didn't expect to lose that much that quickly. And I'm very satisfied with the results so far. And other people that have come to me and the people that I know in my own social circle that have started the Manshake have absolutely loved it. So, I endorse it as a regular consumer. Like, I mean,
yeah, that's it.
They're not giving me anything. I'm just endorsing it because it works. Like, and that's
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
Um,
It does, and that's 100%. Like, I agree with you as well. It's good seeing other people take it up as well, and it's good seeing them have that improvement in their life when they're using it how it's supposed to be used, and not just relying on it to be the answer.
Well, me myself, like, and I don't want to keep talking about myself, but I find myself just so much more confident. Like, when I'm out doing the shopping, I stand up straight.
Yes.
I look at people in the eyes, and it's just from 160
I told you, man.
kilo
Confidence is sexy, and I want to make sure that people understand that I'm not saying that you have to be thin and you have to be skinny to be confident. But if you reach a point where that confidence bleeds through because you feel better about yourself, then that is one of the most attractive things in the world. And people need to start focusing on that. Confidence is key. Absolutely.
Tim, are you saying that I'm attractive?
Oh, 100%, man. Like, wait till we stop recording. No.
Well, uh, yeah. So there'll be another episode of Fat Chat up late, late night Fat Chat.
Like,
But,
brother, yeah.
but look, Tim, I don't even know how long we're talking for. It's probably been ages. I will start to wrap it up there, unless there's any other thoughts or anything else that you want to talk about today.
No, it's just been a good chat. It's good to talk open and freely about this kind of stuff, because there's one thing that I've found that is one of the biggest questions when it comes to, like, even on that Facebook page that we've been talking about, is just just what do I do? How do I lose weight? Where do I start? And I think this chat has been really good to say, like, the first step is figuring out what you need to change, and then just going from there. Absolutely.
Well, mate, yeah, it's been absolutely awesome having a chat to you and having you on this Fat Chat. Like the dynamics of each episode I've done so far has just astounded me. Like, Jerd being the family man, didn't want to see himself being that fat dad. We've got Lloyd, who was suffering mental health issues, who wanted to make, so he'd still be around, for his family as well. Then what was it? Danny, he wanted to look good for his wedding. And Simon, he had the weight loss surgery after suffering from just progressive weight gain all his life. And Jared as well, the episode will release tomorrow, which is last week. He did it for a whole other reason. And like yourself, you had that moment after a breakup. And it's just, everyone has a different reason, but we've all got the same goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you mentioned with Jordan family, like a lot of people say to me, they're like, oh, your son was the big motivator behind you wanting to lose weight. And it's like, yeah, he was the motivator behind me wanting to lose weight, because I do want to be healthy and be able to play in the park with my son and not feel exhausted and not be tired and out of breath just by running for 10 meters. But that wasn't the primary motivator for why I decided to make that change. I made that change because I just wanted to feel a bit of happiness, like I just wanted to feel a bit of confidence. I wanted to, I'm 6'4", like I've mentioned a couple of times now, 6'4", overweight. When you walk into a room, you're generally the first people, like, not just because of your height alone, people will, like, you're the first person people notice. And it's for my entire life, it's been something that's made me uncomfortable because I wasn't happy with my weight. So I always thought that attention was drawn to me, not only because of my height, but because of my weight. And it's nice now to not feel like you're that person anymore. You feel like you're just an average Joe, like, and that's a nice feeling. It is very much so. That was the primary motivator for me, was just to feel happier in my own skin. And I know that if I feel happier with myself, with how I look, that confidence will then come to the fore. And it has over the past, 12 months. I feel much more confident in myself as a person. And I absolutely encourage anyone who is thinking of taking up the journey, just start. There's not some kind of magical starting line that you stand at and someone fires a pistol and you're off on your journey. Your journey starts when you wake up and go, I need to change. And then you just start making those changes.
Yeah, exactly right. There's never a perfect time. Just a couple things.
Yeah.
I've always wondered this. Why do they fire a gun at the start of a race? Like, at what point did someone go, all right, now, Cletus, you're going to take your 357 Magnum and shoot it up in the air this time. Make sure you do. And all these people are going to start running, right?
Honestly, that is a good question that I'm going to have to look into. But it's obviously some kind of, it was the only thing we had. So we just made our bang to start the race. Yeah.
But yeah, man. Look, what we'll do is we'll wrap it up. I will say thank you for being on this episode of Fat Chat. If you haven't already, check out Tim's Twitch, join him and subscribe if that's what you do on Twitch. I know I'm going to go check it out. And also jump on Jerd's YouTube channel. He's got one, Begins Getting
Absolutely.
Weight Loss. And jump on the Man Check Men page. Jump on every single page that you possibly can, because the internet's such a fantastic tool. But
It
yeah,
is.
man, thank you very much for being with us.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate that you extended an invitation to me to come on here and listen to me ramble for what it's been like an hour now, just over an hour. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Like, this is really informative stuff, and it's really good to see perspective from people that aren't airbrushed and photoshopped into oblivion. Like, everyday normal men and even and women as well, like, just talking about what works for them is just spot on, and we need more of that in society. So
well,
absolutely,
thank you, man. I appreciate that compliment. And I do have a lady lined up to be on the future. So, but look, honestly, thank you so much. Everyone that's out there, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, and that little bell icon tells you when I upload videos. Fat Chat will be a weekly thing coming out on Monday. Most of my videos are around 5 to 6 p.m., depending on how crazy my day is. But I love you all, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Thanks again, Tim. You have yourself a great day.
Thank you.